So the first part of our laboratory exercise is complete, and this is now the current version of the main function that I have. So we are configuring an initializing GLUT window, then we're calling glue library to prepare OpenGL driver. Then we construct the shader that does all this hard work, loading two files and compiling these two shaders inside the graphics card. And then we test this GL use program. So let's go to the second part, which is really a very small part right here. We can now test our shaders, and this is what we need to do. We just need to take this code and copy it and place it right below this answer, right? So once again, over here, this part, and this is where I copied it from, right? So this part goes as an answer. So let's do some testing here, and once we get this to compile and run properly, we'll discuss what happens here briefly. So as always, save, build. All right, so here we have I called my shader simply shader, and this one refers to my shader. So let's change every occurrence of my shader to shader. So I'll just change this like this. Okay, so that's fine. And save everything. So once again, we have this shader that we construct. I'll just match everything, and this is where we create it. Then we upload vertex positions. So this takes our geometry and loads it into graphics card. And then we say use program. Okay, so use program, we already have it. So I'm just going to get rid of this one. Okay, so this is so far what I have in this portion of my main function. I'll go ahead and build this, and again press Ctrl F5 to run it, and so this is the red triangle. All right, so if you would like, you can go to the Fragment Shader. I already have it open here, but again I'll show you that the structure of our lab is that we have this is our project directory where we're running this project right now in our Visual Studio, and under source we have the shader implementation and header file, and we also have the main file that we modifying right here. Now I strongly recommend that you should be displaying file extensions in your file manager. If you don't see this, just click view and make sure that you check mark file extensions. It'll stick, and it'll simplify your work, because we constantly will be referring to files with the same name but different extensions. So it's important that you keep extensions visible at all times. Anyway, but the shaders are located in a different subfolder, right? So back to our project directory. So this is where the shaders are located, and although I already have it open, but I'll drag and drop it over as if I'm just opening this file. And now this is showing me red, but if I want to switch to like yellow, for instance, so the yellow should be a combination of green and blue. So we'll make this change in the fragment shader, which assigns all these colors, and here I'll just change it to 1, and let's see how that looks like. Again, this fragment shader is not part of our CPU client program, so all we have to do is just rerun the program. I'm going to press Ctrl F5, and oh, it's yeah, what did I do? Yeah, for yellow I need to combine red and green, obviously. So I just so let's go back to 0 here, and this is the red component, green and blue, and so with this change, okay, so that looks yellow. So you can see that our fragment works as expected, and our brand new shader class is now ready to be used to prepare our shaders to be used in our programs. So I'm closing this application, and I'm going to show you the final result here. Typically you'd also want to delete the program, the shader program that you're no longer using, but it's not essential in this laboratory exercise because all the memory should be returned back to the system once our client program stops running. But we'll try this change anyway before we finish. So I build again and run it, and we'll close it, and it's just obviously makes no difference. But this is how you can free memory and remove the existing shader that was previously compiled. Again, I'm not asking you to submit any files, but remember to use the discussion forum if you run into some issues, and definitely subscribe to forum so you can post your answer questions from other students.